That's the first home series loss since April 24th to April 26th. Let's talk about the Boston beatdown. Nice title. And we'll talk about the MLB Draft. Mike Shirley laid it out as a top 3. Is it? And we'll look at the top 3, compare the 3 amongst each other on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Postgame show presented by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Welcome into Studio West of our West Loop offices here in downtown Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, my producer, Chloe Teo.
Hey!
Do you have a mic?
I made Steven get me one today because I felt really left out. So, yeah.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I honestly just did not expect you to have a mic. Okay. Hit the thumbs up for Chloe having a mic. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel as well. As Chloe made the title, Boston beatdown. She mentions it there. Sox drop the series versus Boston. It's their first home series loss since April 24th to April 26th when they lost to the Nationals of all teams. Although the Nationals are like pretty good offensively. And they also, the White Sox, lost a pretty horrendous 2-1 game in extra innings against the Nationals, which I think was a Sir Anthony Dominguez special. So, I have the. Okay, we won't play the Ferris Bueller coughing drop because it's like 8 seconds. You know, I gotta get like the individual coughs. I guess I could stop it if I want to, but again. Okay. Yeah, okay. We'll try to get. I need it like an actual piano like Ferris has. But the biggest thing that I'm going to take away about the White Sox is Christian mentions it here. Sox fans have to relax and understand that losing streaks are a part of this beautiful game. I've been watching soccer and it's referred to as the beautiful game. I watch America's pastime. That's our beautiful game, and it is. Unfortunately, losing streaks are a part of a 162-game season. The poor Cubs team, or at least I'm referring to my coworkers, not specifically the team, but I saw my coworkers go through it during 2 separate 10-game losing streaks, and I believe that team is still above 500. So it's not about how you look in the moment, it's how you rebound. And the White Sox have been a great team at rebounding. They have had several losing streaks of 3 games. They did it Thursday, March 26th to Sunday, March 29th, Monday, April 26th to Wednesday, April 8th, Tuesday, April 14th to April 16th, Tuesday, May 5th to Friday, May 8th, Friday, June 19th to Sunday, June 21, and Wednesday, July 1st to July 3rd. And here's the thing, even though they lost 5-0, even though it was 8-1 last night, even though it's a negative 12-run differential against the Red Sox, it's not a 3-game losing streak yet. So I might expect the White Sox to lose tomorrow. I don't know if it's going to be nice against Patrick Sandoval, another lefty. This team doesn't really seem to have lefties figured out at the moment. Miguel Vargas needs to be that big kind of threat in the lineup, and he just hasn't been that over the past 2 games. Vargas as the leadoff hitter today. 0 for 4. Vargas yesterday, I believe, 0 for 3. He did have a walk in there, and not bagging on Miggy. He's an all-star. Congratulations to Miguel Vargas. Honestly, we need something to talk about at some point. I think we're at the Old National Bank feature, and we'll talk about that later on. Not right now. That is not a cue. But we'll talk about Miguel Vargas and his beautiful reaction to being named an all-star. So this is not me bagging on him, but it's a part of 162. You're going to have streaks where you look bad. And, when the White Sox all-star goes 0 for 7 with 1 walk at the top of the lineup, it's kind of a signal what's going to happen. So, again, down negative 12 runs against the Red Sox. It's not the end of the world. I do think the Guardians and Twins right now are still tied at the moment, 5-5. So we'll see how that plays out. It's possible Cleveland wins and the AL Central is tied. But, am not hitting the panic button in any sense. Also, Christian does mention he's seen so many tweets. You could just get off that app that we should sell at the deadline or take 20 pitchers in the draft in this class year. We're not the Angels. That back half selling at the deadline and taking 20 pitchers in the draft in the year is what the worst run team in baseball, the Angels, do. So don't worry, that crap's not going to happen. People are just dramatic, okay? If you're ever feeling that people are being a little crazy, tell them to get a job. Bruce. Okay, let's talk about this terrible game. Davis Martin started for the White Sox versus, I want to call him Sam Bennett because that's the former Calgary Flame, right? It's Jake Bennett. Bottom two, Meidroth with a leadoff single, Sam Antonacci with a walk, and then Braden and Junior Perez Arcade, Teal with a ground out. The White Sox, pretty much best threat of the night, was spoiled right there, and they didn't have any offense after that. Top three started 0-2. Davis Martin started 0-2 to Jarren Duran, and then he threw him 4 straight balls, and that's where the game pretty much unfolds for the White Sox. It's a walk to Duran, and then Narvaez with a sac bunt moves Duran to second, and then Cheng with an RBI single. It's 1-0 Boston, and because the White Sox don't hit the cutoff man, Duran's fast. He scores, Cheng gets to second, and then Kyle Teal tries to backhand a ball. Got by him. Cheng gets to third. So now there's a runner in scoring position at third. I guess he was already in scoring position at second, but even better scoring position. Scoring position, ultra. Siegler with a walk in a 2-2 count. So it's now runners on first and third. Rafaela with an RBI double. Thought he was just a defensive menace, but hey, I guess that's their Tristan Peters, huh? Rafaela with an RBI single. Siegler gets to third. It's 2-0 Boston. And then another pass ball. I think it's more of a wild pitch. Feels more of like a yank job from, that's the Reese McGuire thing, sorry, a yoink job from Davis Martin. I think, Teal does try to backhand it. And if you're frustrated as an old-time baseball person, he's not in the crouch. He's not able to, slide like a goalie over there. I do feel like it's a wild pitch. It's scored, I think, at least in the moment it was, pass ball. It's 3-0 Boston. Contreras with a fly out to right center field. So that's the end of the inning, but it did not get better. And I really stopped taking notes. The next note I take here is I want to die, bottom 7, signed Sean. So that's it. Davis Martin, 4 innings pitched, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 Ks. His ERA currently sits at 3.41. It was a very nice story. But again, it's Davis Martin, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I love Davis Martin. I love Davis Martin when, Davis Martin wasn't cool, right? It's the LCD sound system song, right? I was into guitars, and now I'm into turntables, and now the people that are in guitars are getting into turntables or whatever. The stupid pretentious shit he was saying. Ooh, I'm not supposed to swear. Dang it. I've been very good about that. I am sorry to the children that watch this show. They're gonna kick me off. Okay, but anyways, Davis Martin was a great story back when he debuted, and then he ends up having Tommy John, right? But he bounced back very well, and like Davis Martin at a 4 ERA is a very good 4 to 5 starter. It's just when he got off to the start that he did, he was very consistent to where I even made the faux pas of calling him an ace. I think he was an ace in the moment. He's not a true ace, right? There's not many aces in baseball. There's Skubal. You got Mizorowski, right? Skubal. Not Skubal. Yeah, Skubal. No, Skeens. There it is. The other SK. Right? There's about 6 of them. Sanchez, maybe Wheeler, 2 on the same team there. I don't need to name the aces. Sonny Gray. Get Sonny Gray. But he had a consistency where you really started to trust him, and now the wheels have come off, not in a way where I don't trust Davis Martin. I think he's a decent starter and a very important part to this rotation, but they do need help, right? I think Sean Burke is emerging as a possible 2 to 3 starter. I don't think he's a number 1, maybe, but I think what he's shown over the past 4 starts and what he's gotten into with his rhythm, it does seem like that's a really great top end. And when you're comparing the two, it's 6'6" Sean Burke, who was drafted in the 3rd round, who needed to figure some things out, but always flashed a really good curveball. That slider has started to pick up this year, getting more and more whiffs, and that 4-seam fastball has been really nice, but now he's been able to average 96. When he was sitting 92 early in the season, not so pretty. Now he's like consistently been hitting 96. So Sean Burke isn't the kitchen sink approach of the 6'2", gangly Davis Martin, who is the 11th round pick out of Texas Tech, right? So I do think that Martin is a very important piece. I do think that reactionary fans are quick to overrate him or call him overrated. He has an xFIP, an expected fielding independent pitching of 368, which is going to tell you probably at the end of the year his ERA is about going to be around 368. He's a 341 right now. So I think he has the possibility to have some really good runs of starts and probably getting that down to 320 or something, right? But then there's probably going to be a couple bad starts where it gets back up to that 3.6. You could expect a range anywhere to probably 385 to 335 for an ERA of Davis Martin. And if he does have a 335 ERA, like that's a great year for Davis Martin. That's why you're possibly going to win the AL Central. So you don't need him to be an ace. You need him to be reliable. He hasn't been reliable recently. That's very clear. But I'm not giving up faith on Davis Martin. Ooh. Wish I had a George Michael drop. Don't have a George Michael drop. All right. Edward's saying, did Sean get demonetized? No, not yet. Just don't tell on me, okay? Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, say I sent you, say I'm your favorite, and then they'll just forget about that little faux pas, all right? Anyways, hi, Yuta. Yuta also, maybe favorite that, because Yuta asked me a question. NBA comps for Grady Emerson and Roch Cholowsky. I think I have them. It's a difficult, weird one, but I'll try to help out our NBA fan that I know is there in our pal Yuta, all right? So that's the recap from today's game. It's nothing to write home about. Luis Angel Acuna had 2 hits and 2 at-bats, so nice job. Sam Antonacci had a hit, a walk, and then he almost made a spectacular play in foul territory. He ends up trapping the ball, but, I mean, Len Casper and Darren Jackson were oohing and eyeing about the effort that Sam Antonacci made. I tweeted out that Sam Antonacci is your favorite baseball player's favorite baseball player, right? He's a grinder, folks. He's getting hit by pitches. He's second baseman playing left field, and he's diving out there. He's just grindy as hell. And you love having Sam Antonacci on the team. So overall, pretty disgusting, horrible night. If you are a person that really enjoys rage. Colson Montgomery went 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, so feel free to boo him, all right? Here, we'll play the Price Isn't Right noise. I don't know if this is going to get prettier. Again, this has been a team that doesn't get it or doesn't let this get off the rails. They're able to bounce back. They lost the first 3, and then they bounced back and won 9-4. They lost 3 straight against Baltimore, and then came back and won against KC 2-0. They lost 3 straight against Tampa at home, came back and beat the Athletics, and then went, I believe, 4-2 in that away stretch right there. They lost the last 2 against Los Angeles on the road, and then lost the first set of the game against Seattle, and then rattled off 5 straight wins. Then they lost 3 in not a long time, but then they lost 3 the back end at Baltimore, and then the first 2 against Cleveland, and then split with Cleveland and left Cleveland with a game lead in the Central. It doesn't look pretty at all, but I do think that you just got to put your head down and just hope that Murakami will be back soon. Our guy Marcos in the chat saying just need Murakami to come back for the weekend series, which he will. All right. So before we end this little segment, I'm going to talk to Murakami. I can tell you, and I think Jared pretty much told you yesterday, so I'm not really telling you anything. I'm just telling you what I read. But Munetaka Murakami tonight went 1 for 3 with a double, an RBI, and a walk. But Munetaka Murakami, James Fegan wrote over at Sox Machine in his pregame write-up, no one with the Sox has gotten more specific than expecting Murakami back before the All-Star break, but know that all the beat writers think he's going to be back Friday. Then people are noticing that there's 4 AL participants in the home run derby. I do want to point out William Contreras is one of them. He did foul a ball off of his foot, did try to play, and then was taken off fairly immediately. There was a play with Acuna, and then I believe Contreras was pulled off. So a spot could be opening, and James did write, Hard not to notice that the home run derby field has not been entirely set yet either. Might be something to that. So, Murakami might be back, and it is possible that he might participate in the home run derby. And I'm going to say, as a person who likes fun, as a person who's wearing this shirt, and Edward, I don't know how to provide you a link to the shirt because I bought it on Depop like 4 years ago, and I've never seen it pop up since. So if I do, I'm going to buy it for myself. So I have a backup shirt of this shirt. But I like the World Baseball Classic, and I like the home run derby. And Munetaka Murakami would make baseball bigger. And I think it's hard not to put a light on that player and put a shine on what he possibly can do. And him versus Kyle Schwarber could be something that helps baseball and in a weird way, like, gives the power back to the players because they are the reason people watch. And if you can put amazement on television and those ratings go up, that's going to help, I think, the players' ability to negotiate come the lockout. And I know that's a lot of pressure, right? But you've seen him. This guy has like 250 plus career home runs. Ohtani's at like 300, right? Like, this guy is a monster. He's 26. I think Ohtani's like 30. Just from a power standpoint, this guy's a menace. And it would be a blessing to the sport if he was in the home run derby. And if it was Harper or Schwarber against Murakami in the finals in Philadelphia, people would be going ballistic. And if Murakami took them down in Philly, I mean, the Murakami jerseys would fly off the shelves. I'm a big narrative guy, right? I love a story. And the last thing that I'm going to say no to is Murakami in the home run derby. All right, that's 17 minutes on this awful, awful game. We will look into Miguel Vargas becoming an all-star because I know it's been a rough couple of games. So I want to give at least you some positive stuff, okay? So we'll be back here on the CHGO White Sox post-game show presented by Bet365. We want to let you know about our friends over at Xfinity. What if you could have reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi? And what if you could keep that reliable and intelligent Wi-Fi at the same price for 5 whole years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Imagine Wi-Fi in your home that makes everything work together, that finds and fixes problems before you even notice them, like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that has its own 6th sense. That's Xfinity Wi-Fi. It lets you stream the game even while the whole family's online. All your devices working in perfect harmony for 5 whole years. And the best part about those 5 whole years, no annual contracts, no hidden fees, and Xfinity's best equipment is included. Take it from me, a hardened White Sox fan, a lot can change in 5 years. You can go from winning the division in 2021 to winning the division in 2026. But your Wi-Fi, it should stay reliable, and the price should stay put. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities today with Xfinity. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Four Seasons. For all the right reasons, call 866-4-SEASONS. Summer heat is here, and your AC is working harder than ever. Don't wait for a breakdown. Call Four Seasons today and schedule an AC tune-up for just $89.95. Whether your air conditioner stops working, you have a clogged drain, or you need an extra electrical outlet installed, Four Seasons has you covered. Their expert technicians are available 24/7 for emergency service with no additional charges for nights, weekends, or holidays. They are trusted by homeowners across the region, and Four Seasons has earned more than 30,000 5-star reviews and maintains an A+ rating on the Better Business Bureau. And if your AC breaks down after your tune-up, they'll fix it at no additional charge. There seemingly is some bad weather coming up this weekend, so if you do have a flood, your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric are Four Seasons. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Your trusted local expert for heating, plumbing, sewer, and electric, and air conditioning is Four Seasons. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox post-game show presented by Bet365. Just quickly in the chat, I do want to just shout out our guy Marcos, who says this game signifies that we need another starting pitcher. Not sure who we would give up, but Davis hasn't been pitching like an ace lately. You know, I'm just going to disagree with that. Davis is a guy I trust. Again, he's like a 4 to 5 guy that's going to sit I think under this year, a 4 ERA. That's very good from a 4 to 5 spot in the rotation. They need to upgrade Fedde, and they need to figure out if Schultz is truly a part of this rotation. I think that it's possible Shane Smith replaces Schultz. He's currently returning down in Winston-Salem. It wasn't the best outing, but it was, a decent outing, 2 2/3 from Shane Smith in his second rehab start, I believe. 6 strikeouts, 2 walks, so you like the strikeout to walk ratio. I think he gave up 2 earned runs as well. But I do think it's possible that Shane Smith replaces Noah Schultz in the rotation to possibly see that, if Shane could possibly give you the spark that he gave last year, or something similar to it where he's competitive every 5 games. I'll give Anthony Kay credit. I know he hasn't been fantastic, right, when you look at the ERA and the ERA alone, but I do feel like he's found a little bit of a groove, and this is a player that's coming back over from Japan, and I think he's, again, finding a groove. It's a season ERA of 4.29, but when you look back to just May and you exclude the month of April, it's an ERA of 3.51, a FIP of 4.37, so again, it might balloon back, and Anthony could possibly be looking at some regression, but 52 strikeouts to 19 walks. I do think that Anthony Kay has been consistently in the strike zone. Davis started off okay, and it did just wane away from him. It wasn't the consistency you've seen from Davis, but I don't think that this is something that, you need to expect from Davis Martin. Bez from over on Sox on Tap said, once Boston started spoiling good pitches, instead of chasing them, Martin kept pitching like they would expand the zone. Longer at-bats forced him back over the plate, and that's where they've capitalized. Boston's a very good hitting team, and, again, Davis doesn't have great stuff. When he's going up against worse teams, I think he's going to be fairly consistent. But, again, he's not an ace. So if you're expecting him to be an ace, he's not going to look like that. So, yes, the White Sox need to acquire someone. Sonny Gray. Sonny Alcantara. But what can Shane Smith provide you? What can Tanner McDougal provide you? And again, what will you be able to acquire at the trade deadline? Because I do think that this is a year the White Sox go for it. And I think once, not Sir Anthony Dominguez, once Munetaka Murakami is back on Friday hitting home runs, you'll be back in the whims of your White Sox loving days. All right, hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We are going to go over to our friends over at Old National Bank, and we're going to check it out with our friends over at Old National Bank. Every play matters, whether it's on the field or in your financial life. The best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter, member FDIC. And we're going to go over to the White Sox social team, who took us into the clubhouse the day Miguel Vargas was announced as an all-star. Will Venable is going to start the clip. He's going to pass it over to Mike Vassell, and you're going to hear from Miguel Vargas, who will make you want to run through a wall.
All right, guys, all-star selection today. All right, and before we get into who our all-star is, I just want to say thank you to every single person in this room. Your hard work, the sacrifice that you guys have made have brought pride back to this organization. You have given an entire city something to believe in. You've given them an identity to be proud of. So this person is representing the standard that you guys have set. They're representing this clubhouse and what it stands for. And most importantly, they're representing every single person here. Now, there's one person who's definitely not going, but has made a huge impact on this club. So I thought it was fitting for our guy Bass to make the announcement.
When it's time to get in between those white lines, I don't think there's anybody that plays harder. When the game's on the line, I want this guy in the box. I want him over at his position. He's the 7th Cuban-born player to represent the White Sox. Hell yeah, baby!
I just want to appreciate every single person in this room. A couple of years ago, I never believed in I can enjoy the game anymore, and I found out you guys proved me wrong, and what I can experience this year for me has been unbelievable, and I have no word for describe this amazing ride with you guys, and I can't wait for see what this season ending for us, and I know it's gonna be a great season for us for sure. Really appreciate all of them.
Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox postgame show, where we're checking it out with our friends over at Old National Bank. Shout out to Stephen Nicholas, who said, don't play that on the show because the music might be copyrighted. Sorry, bud. Also, I swore earlier, Steven, so not really off to the best start, but truly heartwarming there from Miguel Vargas. I don't know what else to say, because you did see that moment in 2024 after he was acquired, after Eric Fedde was sent to the Cardinals, Michael Kopech to the Dodgers. They pick up my guy Gerald Perez, Alexander Albertus, and Miguel Vargas, and you see the dismay on Miguel Vargas's face that day in Oakland. And you just see, I think it was the 21st loss or the 20th loss. And you just kind of see, like, what did I get myself into? And he literally says, a couple of years ago, I've never believed that I can enjoy the game anymore. And I found that you guys proved me wrong. And the fact that you have seen this player blossom into the 134 weighted runs created plus third baseman, a guy that not only like has gotten better, but you see the White Sox improvement in this player as well. A player with a bat speed in the 25th percentile, a player with the sprint speed in the 51 percentile, 27.5 feet per second. He's now running faster, 28.3 feet per second. His sprint speed in the 77th percentile, his bat speed in the 72nd percentile. And his ability to make great swing decisions has really been enhanced by the power that he's been able to add to the ball. Gaining the near 4 mile per hour in bat speed has turned his double power into home run power. And he now becomes the 7th White Sox in history, 7th Cuban in White Sox history to be an all-star. And it is a great moment. And again, if you are feeling down and out about these 2 games, think about what they've done in these 91 to sit 47 and 44. And Miguel wasn't terrible last year. He was one of their better players. And just look at what they've been able to do over their last 156 games. 28 wins and 37 losses in the second half of last year, plus 3 run differential. 47 and 44 so far in the first half, plus 14 run differential. 75 and 81 in the past 156 games. It's below 500, but we're not at game 162 yet. And I don't know if the White Sox win against Boston and then win the next 3 against the Athletics, but they could. And then they're 1 win away against Toronto from being 81 and 81 in their last 162. Like, that is phenomenal, immense growth from what we saw in 2024. It's Miguel Vargas on the screen. They've been able to turn what I thought was a broken PS5, because I really wanted a PS5 at that point. So I was like, should I just buy the one that's $50 cheaper? So that's the kind of connection I made. But they've been able to fix the HDMI port, and they've been able to have a long life with this beautiful PS5 and NCAA Football 25, 26, and soon to be NCAA Football 27. I really have been at all of what Miguel Vargas has been able to do and the player he's been able to come. He had pedigree, but there's often times where you don't see that pedigree capitalized on, and Miguel Vargas has been able to take the ball and run with it. I guess I'm using a football analogy there. That's not really baseball. He's been able to hit a home run. All right. That is where we'll take a break, and then we will now talk about the next 15 minutes about the MLB Draft. Mike Shirley talked to the media, and he laid out the race as the Cholowsky and Emerson debate, and Vahn Lackey being a part of the conversation as well. How much is Vahn Lackey a part of that conversation? How did these 3 players shape up against each other? And have I changed my mind since yesterday when I said Roch Cholowsky is 80% chance the choice? We'll talk to you more later on. DJ Ev says Guardian lose. Let's go CHGO White Sox postgame show. We want to let you know, my friends over at Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Our friends over at Bet365 love spending a full night at the ballpark, but they also get it. There's 81 home games in a season, and you've got places to be. Whether you're trying to beat the Dan Ryan traffic home or get to the 33rd Street bars before the lines fill up, sometimes getting out of the game early is the move. That's why with Bet365, they're offering their 5-run early payout whenever the team you're riding goes up 5 runs at any point in the game, they'll pay out your bet right then and there. It's as simple as that. They can't stop bullpens from ruining your day, but they can stop bullpens from ruining your bet. Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the app and use code CHGO365 when you wager your first wager of $10 with our friends over at Bet365. Whether that wager wins or loses, you get $150 in bonus bets to wager on whatever your heart desires. Spreads, player props, futures. Again, whatever you want. Winning is everything over at Bet365. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Illinois. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Game Time. The World Cup is going on all across North America. It's kind of setting up for soccer fans in the U.S. If you want to get the best deals into the hottest games, especially now that the U.S. is knocked out, Game Time is the app that gives the advantage back to fans. It's a complete lifesaver with tickets to matchups that you care about. You could track price drops in real time. You can get alerts when seats open up, and you can grab tickets the moment they hit the app, and they're all backed by the Game Time guarantee. And my favorite part about Game Time is it's an all-in deal. Fees are included, so you know your total upfront with no surprise fees at checkout. You can look at the stadium view. You could see tickets for, I don't know, an $8 Sox game, and you'll pay $8 at checkout. It's that easy. So take the guesswork out of buying soccer tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code CHGO for $20 off for your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today. Welcome back to the CHGO White Sox postgame show presented by Bet365. Hopefully tomorrow. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Okay, so before we get into the MLB Draft, Twins do defeat the Guardians in 9, 6-5. Okay, so when we look at the AL Central, with that now knowing, the Guardians are now a half a game back. They're 47-45. Sox sit at 47-44. The Twins are 2.5 games back at 45-47. The Tigers are 42-50, 5.5 games back. The Royals 38-55, 10 games back. The Tigers have won 4 straight. The Twins have won 3 straight. The Guardians have lost 3 straight. The Sox have lost 2 straight. Our guy Marco in the chat saying, "Here comes these pesky Twins. Glad the Guardians lost, but Minnesota is coming in hot." Bob Davis also saying Twins and Tigers are coming. So I really agree on the Tiger part. I really disrespect the Twins. I think the Twins are very bad. The Twins will be selling come August, whether they're above 500 or not, which they won't be. But like when they are ass. So I do not like the Twins. I'll put it that way. Guardians, 36.3% chance to win the division. White Sox, 24% chance to win the division. Twins, 20.8% chance to win the division. Tigers, 18.3% chance. Royals, 0.7% chance. This is from Fangraphs.com. You can go over /standings/playoff-odds/FG/DIV. But I have been saying that the Minnesota Twins 20.8% can be divided between the Tigers, White Sox, and Guardians. If I'm proven wrong, I'll shave my head. Okay, I'll do it, folks. I'll do it. I know. What a bold ledge he's going out there on. But I just think that it's either going to be the Tigers or White Sox. I don't want to roll out the Guardians because they will get Jose Ramirez back at some point. But the Twins are, I think, lying down. And hey, I think it speaks on the Twins division. I heard something that, the Twins are probably, the second to worst team organization-wise behind or in front of the Angels. I would still think the Rockies are behind the Angels or behind the Twins. And I do think ownership in the Twins are really hamstringing the people that work at the Twins, but I do think the Twins are really smart. Kevin Goldstein, who used to do a Fangraphs podcast and previously worked for organizations before that, went back to the Twins, and I think he does a really good job. I think he's a smart baseball mind, and I think they do find a great job of finding gems. So I don't really want to besmirch the Twins organization totally, but that Twins team is a wooden ship ready to fall apart. So I do not believe in the Twins, even with the win today, minus 15 run differential, Guardians minus 11, the White Sox plus 14, the Tigers are at plus 20, and the Tigers now, since June, are 20-12. And the biggest thing for the Tigers is they need to prove to their front office, we have to keep our ace. We have to have Tariq Skubal on this team. They've been completely different when Skubal has come back. I think that's the team to watch out for. It's not Minnesota. I think that they're fairly bad. I think it's going to be a 3-team race, and I think it's really going to come down to the White Sox reinforcement that they do make. But yeah, hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already. Make sure you're subscribing. Guardians lose. Woohoo. Sox are still in first place by a half game. Hopefully they win tomorrow to give themselves a little bit of breathing room. Okay, let's get into the MLB Draft. The MLB Draft is coming up on Saturday. We will have a show either at 11:45 or 12. I hope you join us. It's not just going to be an MLB Draft show. It's going to be, I think, something a little bit more special than just a draft show. And we will really be focusing on the number one pick and the moment as well. So if you do want extended draft coverage, I know Future Sox will do a longer thing, especially for the 41st pick and 77th pick. So we will have you covered definitely for the I was going to say Roch Cholowsky pick. I don't know if it's going to be the Roch Cholowsky pick at 1-1, but we will have you covered on Saturday, either at 11:45 or 12. For that pick, Stephen Nicholas will be producing that show as well, so it should be a fun time. All right, again, Sox fall today, 5-0 to Boston, but that's pretty much it on the White Sox professional team. All right, so Mike Shirley, Vice President of Amateur Scouting, talked to the media today, and this is at least all the quotes that I could pull from the Jesse Rogers piece. I will get to James Fegan's piece, or at least quote that he stuck out to, or that stuck out to James in a second. But here is a couple of quotes from Mike Shirley. It's still a bit of an open book, but I think we all know who the candidates are here, and we're working extremely hard. You'd hope. The Cholowsky-Emerson conversation, the Vahn Lackey conversation, these are real. They are happening. They're happening up to the minute. And then Jesse does write, Shirley made a case for all three players, citing how much Emerson closed the gap on Cholowsky during his senior year of high school, while also acknowledging Cholowsky held serve during his junior year of college, hitting .320 with 21 homers. Meanwhile, Lackey is a supreme catcher who could define the position, according to Shirley. Mike Shirley said, it's not about what they are today. It's about what they're going to be 2 to 3 years from now when they show up here at the major league level. I thought that one was interesting because if you're talking about all three of them, it's about what they're going to be 2 to 3 years from now when they show up here at the major league level. I do think Cholowsky has a little bit more of a faster track than Lackey, so I would say that Cholowsky probably doesn't have to spend that much time in the minor leagues. But I also do think that says that they think Grady Emerson, the 18.4-year-old, he was born in February, so that's the 0.4. He's not a baby. He's not a 1.5-year-old, so I think we could drop the 0.4. Grady Emerson's 18. But anyways, I think that tells you that he could be a player that makes his debut at 20. So I think that is at least notable that they're talking that highly of Emerson's possible quickness to the major leagues. Shirley was clear, Jesse Rogers writes, in the process that will lead to the pick, repeating General Manager Chris Getz's stance that we're taking the best player. Mike Shirley said, it's not about the major league team. It's not about the money. It's about who is the best player. He continues to say, we're not looking for a savior. It's never been Chris's goal to find saviors. It's been his goal to continue to add to the totality of this team, which I did like. And it did seem like Mike Shirley was hyping up the collaborative effort of the front office, that it's not just Chris Getz, it's not just Mike Shirley, it is player development, it is analytics. We have clamored for a long time that the White Sox need to expand their brain think, right? It can't be the smallest analytics crew in Major League Baseball. It does seem like they have expanded their scouting staff, both regionally, but then also internationally. Getting the Munetaka Murakami signing was huge for David Keller and his team. But at least with James Fegan over at Sox Machine, he said the biggest quote that stuck out to him was, I think we're all making the final decision together. This is collaboration. The change that happened here is real and how we're all collaborating together. But Chris Getz is running this organization, and I believe Jerry really trusts Chris to make the final decisions.
What is it that I owe to fans?
winning. Okay, folks. And I do trust Mike Shirley and them to find the right players. Colson Montgomery has been a breath of fresh air. I don't know if he's going to be the greatest shortstop of all time, but not many players have been able to play the shortstop position and hit 40 home runs. Colson Montgomery might not reach 40 home runs this year. Maybe he doesn't next year. Maybe he doesn't stick at shortstop long term, but I do think that the bat is real for Colson Montgomery. Not many players can average a bat speed over 75 miles per hour. Sure, does he need to go the other way every now and then? I can hear you on that, but at the end of the day, he is who he is, and he just needs more protection. He needs more winners around him. But let's go to the three players that we are discussing here. It's Grady Emerson, Roch Cholowsky, and Vahn Lackey. I did give out some grades yesterday between prep Roch Cholowsky and prep Grady Emerson, but Eric Longenhagen of Fangraphs, who has been doing the prospect writing for them since 2015, does a fantastic job. Not only did he release new grades today, he also had a mock draft where he had Grady Emerson going number 1. Take that as you may. It does seem like the Grady Emerson part of this is picking up steam. I do believe Jim Callis put the odds at 51% for Grady Emerson, 47% for Roch Cholowsky, and then 2% for Vahn Lackey. Jonathan Mayo, his cohort over at MLB Pipeline, said 50-50 on Cholowsky and Emerson. Blank Name says BA still projects Colson to move to third base by 2029, which, hey, I think that's actually like pretty kind to Colson. I think it's going to come a little bit sooner than 2029, but I do think he's the shortstop at least to start opening day next year. It depends on if Emerson's the pick or not, honestly. But anyways, let's get into these grades that have been updated because it does paint a picture of true splitness. If you want to go to that, Chloe, we have updated grades on Grady Emerson. I believe last time we talked, it was the three. Yeah, you said all three. Thank you. Okay, so now on the screen is the grades. Roch Cholowsky is on the left. Middle is Grady Emerson, and on the right is Vahn Lackey. So the hit profile for Roch Cholowsky is a current value of 30. That's on the 20 to 80 grade scale. 60 is above average. 50 is average. 40 to 45 is below average. 70 is plus plus, and then 80 is elite, right? Like very rare, really, kind of like Chandler Simpson speed where, he's very, very fast. So the hit tool for Roch Cholowsky currently is a 30 with a future value of 40. Vahn Lackey's is a 35 with a future value of 55. Grady Emerson wins this category with a current value of 20, but with a future value of 60. Game power, Cholowsky has a current value of 35 with a future value of 55. Emerson, a current value of 20, a future value of 40. Vahn Lackey, a current value of 30, a future value of 55. With the current value being 35, although Lackey has the similar future grade, I gave the win to Cholowsky in this because at least at the current moment, he does have more game power, according to Eric Longenhagen over at Fangraphs. Raw power is one that Cholowsky and Lackey do split. Emerson ranks at a 45 current value with a 50 future value, where Cholowsky and Lackey currently rate 50 current value with a 60 future value. The run value, Cholowsky is worse with a 50 current value and a 50 future value. Emerson is second with a 55 current and 55 future. Lackey, I gave him the win, although his future value is a 50. He currently is a 60 runner, so right now he is the best runner of the three. I believe Eric would likely say that his speed would decline because of the position he plays in catcher. So at the long run, Emerson would likely win out there, but I think if you're asking who's the fastest player right now and maybe who has the most speed as a prospect, it is Vahn Lackey. I know some people have mentioned moving him to the outfield, but the White Sox really hyped up today the fact that these players, Cholowsky, Emerson, and Lackey, play the two most important defensive positions in shortstop and catcher. So then when you look at the fielding grade, Lackey with a 45 current value and a 55 future value. Emerson the same, current 45 value, future 55. Cholowsky gets the win here, a 60 current value and a 70 future value in fielding. The arm, Cholowsky and Emerson with a 60 grade and Lackey with a 70 grade. It is at least category Lackey wins. He wins 3 of the categories. Cholowsky wins 3 of the categories. I guess you could probably split running as well between Emerson and Lackey, so you could give 2 points there to Emerson. One of the things that I did not include was pitch selection, and Grady Emerson has a 70 pitch selection, which back since 2022 is the highest Eric has ever given out. So I do think that, sorry, Max Clark also had a 70 pitch selection as well. Oh no, he has back control. So yeah, no, I was right. 70 is the highest grade that Eric has ever given out in pitch selection, and that is one thing that the White Sox look for. Mike Shirley mentioned Ryan Fuller's philosophy is how much contact can you make, how much damage can you do to the ball, and what are your swing decisions like. It does seem like swing decision-wise, Emerson wins out. Damage-wise, you'd probably split it between Cholowsky and Lackey, and then contact-wise, it's probably going to Emerson. And Emerson, I wonder, and you could come back off the grades. We're done talking about those. Thank you, Chloe. I think it does come down to the bonus number. I think that they're saying the right thing of saying that we're taking the best player. But in reality, what do these players want? And these negotiations, from what I understand, are not currently happening. It's only Wednesday. They're likely going to be having true negotiations when there is a ticking clock and they have actual numbers that they can feed to these agents. Emerson and Cholowsky share the same agency, the Wasserman agency, but they do not have the same agent. Sam Samardzija is Emerson's agent, brother of Jeff. Grady Emerson's agent is Joel Wolfe. Lackey's representation, I wasn't even sure if this was correct. I know his NIL representation is post game, but I do not believe he is currently represented by Wasserman. Okay, so he has a completely different agency. Emerson and Cholowsky share the same agency, but different agents. Again, I don't know anything. So from what I know, just friend to friend, just, we're just BSing, okay? I'm not an actual source. I'm just a guy who has some fun White Sox shirts. Cholowsky wants to set the bonus record. The number I think that the agency would be triple digits. Or not triple digits, but 2 digits, 10. There has never been a $10 million signing bonus ever given out. And I think that is what Cholowsky's agency is not set on, but at least currently is their asking price to, sign this player. The White Sox can sign somebody up to $11.3 million. So ultimately signing the player shouldn't be an issue. If they want a player, they should be able to get the player. But I do believe Cholowsky is probably around $10 million. Emerson, I wonder if the agency will win out, but I think he's willing to take around 9. The record is 9.2 set by Charlie Condon, which is weird because that's my cousin. Shout out Charlie. But not actual Charlie Condon, but I have a cousin, Charlie Condon. And then Chase Burns. They both set a signing bonus at $9.2 million. That's the record. Would Emerson's agency be happening with tying the record? Does he sign at 9.3? Is there a $700K difference between Cholowsky and Emerson? And you may think he's the best player. He also gives you a $700K savings, right? And I think even with Lackey, too, you could probably get him under the 9 number. Shy Sox Loose says generally think these top prospects are duds. I mean, the one thing about Cholowsky is he seems like a shortstop. And if the comp is Dansby Swanson, you really can't complain with a 30-WAR player at the top of the draft. The draft isn't like the NBA draft. You're not drafting a LeBron James. That's why it's tough when our guy Yuta asked me, what is an NBA comparison? I don't even think I'd compare him to a first overall pick because no one is that player outside of Ken Griffey Jr. The only Hall of Famers ever from 1-1, from what I think, and I could be wrong. I think there was one recently selected, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But it's Baines and Griffey Jr. They've been doing this since 1971. There's 2 guys. I think there's now a third. You're probably going to see Harper be a Hall of Famer. Strasburg had that juice. Mauer, I think, is the other one. So there's 3 1-1s ever. So it's not like a slam dunk. It's a nice pick. I think that it's the chance to, really draft a solid player. So again, Cholowsky could give you consistently, I think 2 to 3 WAR. Emerson being a left-handed hitter, I do think is a step above, and I do think that he possibly, with his pitch selection, could be a McGonigal-esque player at the top of the lineup, where McGonigal is just like a terror. So do you want to go with Emerson? And I do think that you could talk yourself into him being the best player. And then with Lackey, I think he's there for negotiation reasons and negotiation reasons only, with respect. But yeah, I like, if you're going to compare them, because you'd have asked about, number 1 overall picks, like, who does this compare to all time? I think maybe it's, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I don't know. It's tough. It's impossible to compare NBA to MLB. I thought I had a comparison. It's nearly impossible, just because I think Cholowsky it's similar to the 2015 draft. I think, though, instead of Brendan Rodgers, Emerson is a better version of Rodgers. He's taller, seems like he has better pitch selections, and it doesn't seem like he's going to move over to second base. It does seem like he's going to be a shortstop. He might not be the shortstop that Cholowsky is, but I do think that it's likely he is a better hitter. But I'm sorry, Yuta, I did let you down. Finally, at the 50-minute mark, my brain stopped working. So I think that's where we're going to end it. I swore we played copyrighted music, and I promised that I'd give an MLB comp to an NBA player, and I didn't. So it was one hell of a show. Hit the thumbs up button if you haven't already, and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Goodbye. Oh. Well, wait. Yeah, no, that's it. We don't need to. I think I'm done. I had some mock draft stuff. We'll save it for tomorrow, where we build out a draft class for Emerson, Cholowsky, and Lackey. But yeah, I think at the 50-minute mark, my brain ran into a wall. I feel bad for letting Yuta down, honestly. So that's it. Sarah's mad at us as well because I swore. So that's going to be it on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.